Hello, hello, hello. This is a blog, Media Brees, and tonight I am pre-recording. Yes, yes, yes. I know you have not seen me in this open space in a long time because I've been doing my lives with my photo avatar up. And tonight I decided to come on and do it as a pre-recorded. So this is pre-recorded, and I'm doing it this way because I have found that the lives bring on too many trolls. They bring on people who are just there to, for their own nasty reasons, right? And I said, let me just try to do it pre-recorded and see, what happens. And I don't like to do it pre-recorded because I find myself looking down. I'm not always as eloquent whenever I do it like this in an open space where you actually see who I am. And so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and dig in. I do want to make a point though here, because if you have found yourself in a debate on YouTube and you're debating with someone you don't even know, you have never even met them, your parents failed you. Your family has failed you greatly. And pray. You need to pray. If you are that angry at someone you don't know that you want to go around and do horrible things against them, you have a lot of pent-up anger that you do not even realize has zero to do with anyone here on YouTube that you have never met. I digress, okay? So this is what I have titled this. I'm not sure what I've titled it yet, but you'll see. You'll see whenever I get to it. I'm either going to title it, what did I put here? Boycott Candiace Dillard. And for all you Candiace Dillard Bassett fans out there, yes, she needs to be off of Real Housewives of Potomac. This is not her scene. It is not her scene. She is juvenile. She is too immature for this scene. This scene is built for grown women. This is adult women who have worked and have achieved some things, and now they've developed a luxurious lifestyle, and we want to see that. We want to see, of course, some of the drama. At the same time, we don't want to see this juvenile ghetto stuff, this ninth grade kind of behavior. And I'm probably going to call it Boycott Candiace Dillard or Fire Candiace Dillard Bassett. The other one who needs to go is Robin. And not for nothing, you guys, but some of the things that I see Robin even wearing on this show, I either have that or better. No, Robin, no. We need to see, I want to see people who, do you have a Ferrari? Is there anyone in Potomac who drives a Ferrari, a Bentley, large and in charge? Those are the women that we want to see. And we want to see, okay, even though they have all of that luxury, do they have issues? We want to see those. Candiace is not ready for this. And Bravo put her here. And it really upsets me because it almost makes it look like that they don't mind having women of my culture exhibit this type of behavior. And they will keep it on so that they can continue to have these women exemplify something that many of us don't even behave like. I've never said your mama. I've never said that to anyone. It's sad. That being said, I digress. The name of this one, I didn't even write it down. I didn't even write down the season or anything, but I will put it in the title because this is pre-recorded. The good thing about pre-recorded is you can go back and you can edit. Okay, so It opens up in the kitchen. The scene leaves off where it picks up where it left off last episode. And that is, you have Mia and Candiace in the kitchen. They're ending their argument. And Candiace is screaming like a crazy person. No, no, I don't care. I don't care. Just like a crazy person. And Karen is trying to talk to her, and she says to her, did you know her mother was, in a negative position? And, I don't want to say the D word. I don't think we can say the DRUGS word on here. At the same time, Karen is asking her, did you know about her mother's situation before you were saying your mama? And she was saying, no, and I don't care, and I don't care. And she doesn't care. Candiace is beneath you. She's not going to understand that. My thought process is, it does not matter if Candiace knew or not. It's inappropriate. It is immoral. And you are devaluing another human being. Someone calling your video low budget is not devaluing you. It was a low budget. There's a reason why they have low budgets, high budgets, stay within budgets. It was a low budget video. For someone starting out, why are you so mad about someone calling your video low budget? I don't get that. I don't agree with the way it came up in you and Mia's conversation. I don't agree with that. Mia should know better. There's so many things Mia could have said back to Candiace when Candiace said your mama. She could have said your husband. You know what? Your mama's low budget. Your husband's low budget. Mia is not quick. She's not quick on her feet. She's not accustomed to going toe to toe with mouths like Candiace. And I'm not either. I'm just smart, right? And I can read a room. I can read a room real good. I can read the good and the bad of the room. Okay? When I can read the table. If I'm seated across the table from you and I don't know you, I can read you. I can read you, but I would never use any of that unless I had to. Mia is not quick on her feet. So she really, and I think that what is going on as well is Mia she's so insecure that talking about her money makes her feel insecure. And she also thinks that if other people know she has money, then they will look at her differently. No, we don't. People don't look at you differently. They don't really care about all of that, Mia. You need to be a quality person of character. That is what you focus on, not the money. Focus on your character, how you treat other people. And you're talking about you have all this money. How charitable have you been? Because that's a big deal for me. Being charitable is a big deal to me. Because there are people out here who don't have, and not that you're going to be able to help everyone, but if you're making $450,000 a year, you should be able to even have your own charity. And if you do not have your own charity, you should be able to pick out at least about 2 charities that you really like that you can give to each year and participate in. Be a mentor to, or however you do it. I digress on that. Okay, so next I'm going to be looking down some, guys. Okay, this is what I don't like, is looking down, but I'm going to be looking down. The next thing is Chris comes into the kitchen and Candiace is talking to Escala and she goes, I'm sorry, I'm about to get in trouble. You're a grown woman. See what I mean, guys? She's not ready for this group of ladies, even though she's been there. Is this her 4th season, I think? She's still not ready. It's either her 4th or 5th. It may even be her 5th. She's still not ready. I mean, one season she's throwing a knife. Every season she pitches a tantrum. It is time for Bravo to build up the Real Housewives of Potomac and build it up with real women. not Candiace's. I can go on with this all day, actually. So she says, I'm sorry, I'm about to get in trouble, because her husband walks in. So she's treating him like he's her dad instead of like he's her husband. You're about to get in trouble. It's like the kid who stole something and knows they stole something, and the parent knows they stole it, and they know the parent knows, and they're like, oh, I'm in trouble. It's just, I just think Candiace it's just time for her to go. This is why I don't do the lives, you guys, because I'm always looking down at my notes. Let's see here. So they transition into the scene where Mia is in the hallway and she's telling G, she doesn't want to be there anymore. She's ready to go. And, G doesn't seem like he wanted to be there anyway. So he says, okay, let's go. Let's go. The whole time that Mia is trying to tell G that she doesn't want to be there, it's almost as if she wants someone to talk her into staying. Because for me, if I was done, I would have said, honey, go get the luggage, let's go. I don't need to stand around and keep saying, I'm ready to go. I don't need to tell nobody why I'm ready to go. I'm just ready to go, and we're going. If I'm ready to go, we're going. You're not going to be able to talk me into staying. I've made a firm decision and it's over. Okay? But Mia is just standing around there, I don't want to be over here talking to people like this, blah, blah, blah. And with an interaction, had I been Mia in my own personality and I was dealing with a Candiace, I would have just left if I wanted to leave. I would have just left. I would not even want to stay. I would not want to stay after that, because the whole spirit of the space has been overtaken by what I would deem something evil. And I no longer want to be in that space, and I've got to get out. And that's it for me. But Mia is wanting to be talked into staying. As we see, they do that. We later see G standing, and he's talking to the other fellas, Chris and some of the other guys, and he says, you know what, I didn't want to come anyway. But, she said she wanted to come, and so he came because his wife wanted to be there. Back in the den, we have Mia seated, and Karen and who else is it? Karen and Ashley. Is it Karen and Ashley? No, Karen and Wendy. Karen and Wendy are talking to Mia. They're trying to talk her into staying. And Mia is just like, you know what? If my mother loses her sobriety because of this, she's saying she's going to blame Candiace. I'm kind of two-sided about that, because I know that sometimes whenever people are within their sobriety, they're looking for a reason to go backwards. And so that could, if the mother does go backwards, it may be that she was just looking for a reason. However, on the other hand, sometimes people can push you over the edge. And if that was the fact, then yes, you can blame Candiace. You can blame Candiace, because sometimes people are not strong enough. People who have addictions are not powerful or strong enough to avoid them or to say no to them, which is sad, because they don't realize that they really can develop the power to say no to it. And if that could be the case with her mother, if she goes backwards. To my knowledge, that has not happened. And I digress on that. I hope it does not happen. Moving on, they are continuing to talk her. Karen says, don't you give her that kind of power. So I love Karen. When Karen is within this group of women, she brings to the group stability and grace. She brings that to the group. Stability, grace, humor, a little bit of drama, some lies. Okay, I love Karen, but I do believe that Karen got that candle idea from Wendy the day that Wendy walked in her house and was talking to her about it. I don't believe that that was an idea that she had on her own. Karen just happened to have the resources readily available because she has a business manager whom she just needs to pick up the phone and say, hey, I was thinking about maybe adding a candle to my line of La Dame. What do you think about that? And she has a business manager who can get right on it, find the manufacturers to anything, and you have a candle. Wendy didn't have that luxury. She may have it now. She didn't have it then. Then her idea was still being constructed, right? She didn't know how to do a business plan. Let her tell it, which I find hard to believe. You're a professor. You have to sit there. You had to write a thesis, and you can't, a book, literally. A thesis is a book. And you can't write a business plan? Miss me with the BS, Wendy, for real. And I love you this season, girl. A scholar comes in. I like a scholar. As you will see from my previous video, I did just a short synopsis of her life, and just a very short synopsis of it in the last video that I did for the last episode. And I don't really like Ascala's what she brings to the show, though. I don't. I want her to stay because I believe she has more to bring than Robin. I want Robin and Candiace both out. They've got to go. It's time for them to go. Ascala comes in and she tells Mia. Mia is telling them that she makes $450,000 a year, which to Karen, that's nothing. You know, Karen has a whole heirloom of women who make more than $450,000 a year in terms of friends. And Mia saying that just really makes her look insecure. It makes her look insecure. And in reality, Mia probably does need to talk to someone about who she is. She needs to probably sit down and talk to a life coach even. It could be a therapist. It could be a life coach. She just needs to get a grasp on who she is so she can be more comfortable with herself and not have to rely on money to be what makes her, you know? I don't know if that makes sense, but you don't want to do that. That is kind of disgusting too. It really is, because when we really think about money, when we really think, it's paper. It's strong paper. The reason a lot of people put value into money is because it buys things for them. But even the things that they buy with the money have no value. It is you and who you are that brings value to this space that we all live in. It's not a car. And I enjoy watching Real Housewives and their luxurious lifestyles, right? At the same time, I'm not a person who is highly materialistic. I'm not materialistic. I'm just not. I have nice things, but they're not things that I have to have, and they're not things that I have to tell someone that I have in order for them to see me as a valuable human being. And Mia needs to get to that point. And I'll tell you, the way you get there is you always have to be in tune with your negatives. Like the negatives that you put out, you have to be in tune with your bad side so that you can correct it and make it better, because that builds your confidence. When you know the bad in you and you know the good, and you're always working to make your bad overcome your good, that builds your confidence, and no one can tear you down. I digress. So a scholar who actually brings some value to the conversation, because she tells Mia that she needs to, she says, Mia, do you think that it's because you've never had any money and that is why you're always talking about money and that kind of thing? And I don't really recall what Mia said to her, but Ascala goes on to say, well, I just want us not to talk about jobs and business and money, and let's just have a really great weekend. Let's just have fun this weekend. And Mia needed to hear that from Ascala. She needed to hear that. You know, Ascala didn't get off to a good start with Mia. So here are my other notes, okay? I don't know if you guys can see them down here. Next, they show Wendy asking Ascala, are you okay? Because at this point, Karen and the ladies have talked her into staying. And Mia tells her, you know, yes, I'm just going to do what G does. So they decide to stay. The next scene, you have Mia, Gia, and Karen. They're standing near the stairway. And G tells Karen how fine she is, and he proceeds to stick his tongue out again. You know, he's been doing that this whole trip with the tongue thing. He needs to stop that. Everybody just needs to keep their tongue in their mouth. Your tongue is meant for talking. It helps you to pronunciate. It helps you with your phonetics. It helps you to say a whole lot of different types of words. So the tongue is a blessing when you make it a blessing. But he's making the tongue kind of nasty. Quite frankly, I don't even like it when Cardi B does it, because she's a female. And I'm going, okay, do you know how that just looks disgusting? Don't do that. You're too cute to do that. But G, you look like a dirty old man when you do it. And there is nothing worse than a dirty old man. And you are supposed to be a businessman. You have businesses all up and down the East Coast. What are your clients going to think, G? Stop it. Keep your tongue in your mouth. Karen goes, oh Lord. Oh Lord, let me go. You know, I get it, Karen. It's time to go. Nobody wants all of that but Mia. Mia can have that. He's worth $100 million though. Like money speaking, in terms of money. But in terms of person, as we see, his value went way down when he put his tongue out. Karen says, after they've talked about, she says, okay, enough has been said. We just gotta get to know each other better. And basically, I think Karen would not be there if it wasn't for the bag. Definitely, she would not be there if it was not for the bag, because this just doesn't seem like her type of deal. Candiace and Ascala are talking, and Candiace is crying. I can't stand it when she cries. When she cries, I really want Monique to just come and lay her out again. I don't like when a mean, evil person does something to somebody else and then they end up crying. It's crazy to me. It is so crazy. It's diabolical. It's crazy. So Ascala tells her, oh, that's so cute. I think, as you can see, Ascala is trying to figure out who has the power in the group. And I think maybe she thinks Candiace has the power, because initially she was with Robin, but you haven't seen her with Robin. Then she was in Williamsburg. She was with Karen and Wendy a lot, especially after Wendy got Gizelle told. And now we see her with Candiace. She thinks that the power lies within whoever has the most mouth, I guess. Then we have Chris and Ashley in the kitchen. Chris is sweeping the kitchen, and he looks at Ashley and he says, look, I know you and my wife don't get along, but I still want to tell you, congratulations on your new baby. And she says, thank you. That means a lot. And he's still sweeping up the tossed salad that was tossed. As well he should. Candiace should actually be in there sweeping it up. He says to Ashley, I follow you on Instagram. Motherhood does you good. Now, what is Chris doing following Candiace on Instagram? Does Ray following Ashley on Instagram? Does Ray follow any of the people? Now, I can understand if Ray followed Gizelle, because Gizelle and Karen have been friends for 2 decades. They've known each other for a long time, and they've participated in charitable balls in the Maryland, D.C. area. I get that. But Candiace and Ashley don't have that kind of history. And I'm sorry, guys, this keeps falling on the floor. Candiace and Ashley do not have that kind of history. And he's following Ashley on Instagram. And Ashley's beautiful, okay? Ashley is beautiful, and he knows she likes white men. I just kind of think Chris might have a little thing for Ashley, just a little bit. And he don't care if she got kids, he got kids. The thing he doesn't know is Ashley don't date broke men. Ashley don't date no broke men, Chris. So he's, you know, sweeping. I don't know if you guys caught this also, but during this particular scene, the cameras very quickly showed Candiace in a different room as Chris was saying that. It's as if she was hearing them, and then it quickly went back to where Ashley and Chris were in the kitchen. I don't know if you guys caught that, because I was afraid Candiace was about to come out there again. I was like, oh no, not again. Next, we have Karen and Ashley. Karen and Ashley are up in, I think it's Ashley's room, and Karen says, I'm ready to go home. And Ashley says, me too. So the fact that they said that it lets you know that production requires them to be on these trips for a good show. I'm going to hurry up here. Okay, so they're talking to Karen at some point. It's Karen, Ascala, and Ashley, and Wendy. And Karen says she can go home and toss her own salad. And somehow Ashley and Ascala turned that into kind of a nasty type of intimate type of conversation. Everyone who says toss salad is not talking about that, guys. I talk about tossing salad all the time, because tossing salad, you know, and eating it, to me, that has nothing to do with your intimate activities. It has nothing to do with it. People love to take everything and turn it into something crazy. Turn it into something sexual, and it's not. It's not sexual. It's food. You're tossing a salad. So get your mind out of the gutter. Pathetic. What else is it? Gia's asleep and Mia's on the phone with Jeremiah. Jeremiah wants to use her tablet, so her mother comes on the phone. She tells her mother to get the tablet for Jeremiah, and I just thought that was cute. Jeremiah is really cute. But the cutest thing was G was asleep. And I think he was sleeping off all that alcohol, because they were taking a lot of shots when they first got there. I only have like one more page of notes here. So next we have, I wrote this down as a note for me, okay? Because I didn't want to forget to say it. Even though I think this is not the show for Candiace, I do think the show for Candiace is either Love and Hip Hop. They can do a new Love and Hip Hop and bring her on. They can call it Love and Hip Hop Potomac. Okay. Love and Hip Hop Maryland, or Love and Hip Hop DC or something, and put her on that show. Or put her on Black Ink Crew DC or something like that. But not Real Housewives of Potomac. This is not. You don't represent. Then we have Robin and Gizelle. They arrive. When you look at their nonverbals getting out of their vehicles, you know that production forced them to be there. You can tell production forced them to be there. They don't even look like they want to be there. So they arrive, and when they get into their room, they're like, oh no, what is this? And it's a room. The room has 3 beds in it. So they got the worst room, because the other rooms were kind of sweet, like they had bathrooms and everything, and this room doesn't even have a bathroom in it. It's just got 3 beds there. So they were like, oh no, oh no, 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 no. That's what Gizelle was saying. Robin says that she showed up on the trip because Ashley gave her a major guilt trip. So she gave in. We all saw Robin and Ashley meeting at Robin's townhouse before Ashley went to this particular trip at Chesapeake Bay. Ashley did not give you a guilt trip. She just said, I want us to be a throuple. That's not giving you a guilt trip. That's just expressing that she would like for you to be on the trip with her so that you, her, and Gizelle could hang. And so next we have, I'm putting my head down again, you guys. Let's see, what did I write here? Oh, Candiace comes into the room to tell Robin and Gizelle about the salad tossing in the kitchen. And Gizelle goes on and she tells Candiace that, well, she basically tells Candiace that she was in the wrong. She says she had been meaning to talk to her about that. She said, because Candiace told her how it started. She says, you know, she said to me something about low budget. And again, I said, your mama. And Gizelle said, which wasn't nice, and which I was going to talk to you about. And Candiace says, wait a minute, you know, I said, she called me low budget, and I said, your mama, right? And Candiace says, now we're equal. And Gizelle says, no, it's not the same thing. And it's not the same thing. It just is not the same thing. And I'm going to digress because you heard the beginning of this, and I've already told you what I thought about it. So Wendy enters the room and she says, thank you. She says, thank you for coming. So happy you could be here. And Gizelle says, where are the bathrooms? And this is so ironic, right? Because I do not believe Wendy did this intentionally. Wendy planned a trip, and people who said they were going to come. Right before that, Gizelle and Robin both sent her a text telling her they were not coming. So really, she wasn't expecting them. So I don't think, a lot of people think the bathrooms were a setup by Wendy. I don't think it was a setup at all. I think it just happened. It just happened that way. So the irony of it all, she did this to them at her home, and now here she sits and production has made her come. So this is not even a trip she really wants to be on. Production has made her come. And let's see here. The other thing I noticed is when Ashley left the room, it was just Ashley, Gizelle, and Robin. They were having a conversation, and Gizelle was like talking about the bathroom, and Ashley said, oh, you can use mine. And Ashley left the room. When Ashley left, Wendy was not in the room. When Ashley came back into the room, why did she have 4 shots? I think that was a production thing too. How did she know Wendy was there? She had 4 shot glasses. One for her, one for Robin, one for Gizelle, and one for Wendy. Wendy was not in the room when Ashley left. So I noticed that. I need to kind of just get through this really. In Gizelle's confessional, she has the audacity to complain about there not being a bathroom. And she says, a host should always make things right for their guest. Well, Gizelle, you were a host and you didn't make things right for your guests. You were very rude. You even told 2 of your guests that you had already decided that they couldn't use the bathroom if they needed to go at your house. And you were a host. The narcissism of it all, you guys. The narcissism of it all. So they all get ready. They get in the van. They're getting ready to go out to eat. And Candiace in her confessional, because she ends up sitting beside Mia, in her confessional, she's still throwing shade. This girl has got some issues. Anyone who has ever taken if you've taken enough psychology classes, you know that Candiace has got some issues. Psychologically speaking, she's got some serious issues. And it's not all her mother. People keep saying it's her mother. I believe her mother spoiled her. And when you are spoiling your children, you need to be in tune to how they are reacting socially. You really do. All children should not be spoiled. Sometimes you can spoil a child and they'll turn out as sweet as pie, be the most beautiful thing. And then other times you spoil them and they end up criminal almost. Or they end up like Candiace, which is down the middle. And I think that Dorothy spoiled Candiace and she was not in tune to raising Candiace. That's what I think. I think she spoiled her and she just wasn't in tune to raising her to be a good person. It was more about, what can I buy you? I can buy you dance classes. I can buy you pageantry. I can buy you a new car when you turn 16. It was all about what I can buy you. And she probably worked a lot of long hours because therapists, and I know this for a fact, they do work long hours. That's why a lot of them, whenever they set up the time to see you and they're taking their notes, they're trying to get the notes out of the way because they know they're going to have to do that at the end of the day and it's going to take all night. Kind of like teachers with their lesson plans. They go to school, they have prepared a lesson plan. But those lesson plans go on all year long and they have to prepare again for the next day. And some of them prepare in advance. It's just a lot. And Dorothy may not have had the time to really provide good moral value to Candiace. And that happens. So Candiace is sitting in her confessional and she says, sitting beside Mia was like being picked last for a dodgeball. Everything she's doing on here is childish. So now she's comparing it to a childhood game like dodgeball. Because who has played dodgeball past elementary school? So the fact that she uses that analogy, sitting next to Mia was like being picked last to play dodgeball. That, I digress. So they ask Wendy, what's on the dinner menu? She goes, oysters and mahi-mahi and all of those things. I was looking, Ashley looked so pretty when she was in the van and she had on that one shoulder aqua looking dress with the gold chain, and her hair is gorgeous. I love her curly hair. I know she can make it straight or curly, but I love it when it's curly. It's beautiful. I think Ashley is gorgeous. I don't care what anyone says. Candiace can call her big forehead or whatever she wants to call her. And I think she looks really better than Gizelle, really. Gizelle has her off and on moments. She's beautiful, but sometimes she's beautiful. Other times she looks ashy. Sorry. So they go to this restaurant called Foxy's. So if you're ever at Chesapeake Bay, you can go to Foxy's, okay? And at dinner, Wendy thanks them all for coming, and she tells them that tomorrow they're going to get a boat and they're going to have a crab boil. The thing I want to really bring out at this dinner, I don't want to go through the whole process. The thing I'm going to bring out is, you know, people were kind of settled in, and then Ashley starts it by asking Chris what he thought about Mia and Candiace's situation, you know, and he tells her that, you know, that that's between them and that him and G get along, and he would really like for him and Michael to get along the way he and G gets along. And Ashley reminds him that he says some pretty mean things to about Michael, and he says he hasn't, right? And then they do a flashback showing him at the reunion accusing Michael of saying horrible things about women. And then Candiace is like, no, he doesn't, blah, blah, has a mouthful of food, and she says a whole bunch of stuff. And then Ashley, then she says to Ashley, you know, he hasn't said anything bad about your husband, but he called my husband like trash, right? And Ashley said, oh, but didn't you call him a name? And Candiace denies it. She says, oh no, you called him a slave driver. So am I his slave? And Candiace denied that, and then of course production shows where she called him an overseer, which is the same as a slave driver. And that's kind of where the argument just took off. Before all of that happened, or was it out? Yeah, before all of that happened, remember the guys in the back had bought the whole table shots. And then we learned that their wives were just right over the way from them and they didn't buy them anything. And they were at separate tables. I didn't get that. Why were they at separate tables? The husbands were at one table and they were at another table. And I don't know, maybe it's because Wendy had reserved that table for their crew to come in. Maybe that had something to do with it. Or could production have set that up as well? Could production have set that up as well? Because I heard that they have to go into restaurants or into locations to forewarn owners and people of certain venues that they're going to be filming there inside that area. And I don't know. Do they ever set up things like that? It's possible. So that's what happens at dinner. Here's the thing that really gets to me at dinner is Candiace tells Ashley to suck her dick, which she's a female, she doesn't have it. I don't understand why females say that. Why do females say, suck my dick? Why do they say that? That is the most asinine comment. It's pathetic. Anyway, Ashley says, listen, we all know you don't have one of those, but you have an oversized clit. Okay. That was a good comeback. Mia needs to learn from Ashley. She really does need to learn from Ashley. I need to actually go because the technology on this system is just not doing right for this review. And I'm almost at the end here. I just wanted to make the point that, let me see here. What else are in my notes? The other point I wanted to make was Candiace. I've said all season long that Candiace was upset that Ashley wrote that letter to the court for Monique Samuels, remember? And tonight she brought it up at dinner. And that lets me know that she is upset about that. As grown people, if I want to write a letter to the court on behalf of someone else, I can do that. If Ashley wants to write a letter on behalf of someone else, she's a grown woman. She doesn't need your permission to do that, Candiace. You're a bully. People don't have to be on your side. You were in the wrong, by the way. You were provoking her, Monique, last year. The whole way. I do not agree with getting physical, but this season, after seeing how you reacted, I was like, where in the H is Monique when you need her? Because or where's your mama? Your mama should have been on that trip to give you a real good lashing, because you are juvenile, Candiace. You're juvenile. Ashley's a grown woman. What do you mean she put her mouth in legal business that she didn't have any business doing? She had business doing it because you threw a knife at her and she wanted to let the courts know that that's what you did. So if you don't want people writing those kinds of letters about you, don't do those kinds of things. You guys, if you don't want people saying things against you that are wrong or that are bad, don't do bad things. Don't do bad things. Candiace needs to go. I'm done with Candiace. I almost didn't even do this review. I only did this review because I wanted to make the point that she needs to go. Robin needs to go. And not for anything that she's done anything mean. I've always thought that Robin was not a good fit. From the second year, I thought she needs to go. She really does. Notice Juan was not there. Juan was not there. Michael was not there. But Juan doesn't really have a reason not to be there. Michael does because of his history and also because Ashley has the babies now. Someone needs to be at home taking care of the babies. But Juan doesn't really have a reason not to be there because Robin's parents could watch those boys. I digress, you guys. Get down in the comments. Tell me what you think. If you agree with what I said, if you don't agree, that's fine too. I do not block people for disagreeing with me. I block you when you are disrespectful. I block you if you are a troll. Okay? And I also block you if you are a troll, and I can tell by your behaviors that you are back as a different person. So that's the only time that I would block you. That's it. Next week, let's see here. At any rate, that's it, guys. I'm done. I don't have any music here. I started to put some in the background or something, but I may upload it to live stream, because I believe if I upload it to live stream, I can add music, but we will see. You guys have a great evening or great day whenever you watch this. Just have a great life and many blessings to you. We live in a different world now, and you have to do better, and you have to have a purpose to do better. My purpose is God. I want eternal life. It is everything to me. And I think that it's very important for people to definitely acknowledge and worship our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because he is seated at the right hand of God and he's coming back again. Okay? And these behaviors that Candiace did tonight, she needs to stop, for real. Anyway, I digress. Many blessings to you. Bye-bye.